All right. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Bye.
Bye.
All right. So we're getting started here. This is Super Mario Land 2 Randomizer. Randomizers have become really popular in recent history. For those of you who maybe don't follow the speedrun and racing scene so closely, the Super Metroid Randomizer has been around probably forever, and to my knowledge, I think is the oldest video game randomizer. But in more recent history, with the popularity of the Zelda 1 randomizer, a whole bunch of games started getting their own randomizers. And so now we've got randomizers for most of the retro Zelda games. We've got randomizers for quite a variety of retro Mario games. And to that effect, slashinfty, who you see racing here right now, he's a big fan of Super Mario Land 2 and Game Boy games in general, and so he decided to take it upon himself to make a Super Mario Land 2 randomizer, and that's what they're playing right here. Now, there's a lot of features in this randomizer that are actually fairly similar to a lot of the other Mario randomizers. So if you've watched the Super Mario Bros. 3 randomizer or the Super Mario World randomizer, a lot of this is going to be familiar to you, with basically the placement of stages changing, the exits for each stage possibly changing, and even enemies and power-ups within levels changing as well. So yeah, these guys are starting off on a pretty tough level. O'Dear already made it out and is still finding himself almost instantly in the what's this one? The Pumpkin Zone special stage, I think, or Turtle Zone special. This is Turtle Zone special, which is a fairly notorious special stage in this randomizer, just because of the requirements for a lot of different power-ups to be able to beat it. So it's kind of interesting that he ran into this one pretty quickly. You can see all the coins in the stage spell out Super Mario Land 2. So, so if you want to know what sort of things have been changed, the power-ups throughout the stages have been randomized, and as sort of a nice joke for this randomizer, not only are the power-ups randomized, but sometimes they've been replaced with the money bags that you often see throughout the stages. So places where they might be really hoping to get another power-up, they're just going to be met with coins, which is not particularly advantageous for them. But some of these levels do require certain power-ups, so that could be an issue going forward. There's definitely some levels where the secret exits, for instance, may only be accessible with Fire Flower, for instance, or some power-up in general. And because of that, they may actually have to spend some time looking for the correct power-ups to be able to beat the stages. But all of these guys are really talented Super Mario Land 2 speedrunners. They all know what to expect going into this. Pretty much they're just having to react to levels that they may not deal with often in the speedruns, deal with unusual power-ups and unusual enemies throughout the stages. So you got both Slash and Typo working on, this is the Space Zone 1, or actually this isn't Space Zone 1, this is the Hippo stage that enters Space Zone 1, so we'll see where this actually takes them, but they're right next to each other right now. So yeah, if you guys are watching them, and you see them going for power-ups and they just find a Moneybags instead, feel free to spam that Moneybags emote in chat, let them know how you feel about their performance. Got Typo taking the secret exit for the Hippo room, and Slash taking the normal exit. So we got all these guys going in pretty much different directions right now. We're actually seeing Beast right now going through the submarine. The submarine's actually a pretty challenging stage, just because of the fact that it involves a lot of sort of moving up and down, and one of the things that ends up meaning for these runners is that if some of the enemies that are up above them, enemies that might have been flying in the past, for instance, if those get replaced with enemies that don't fly and just fall, they could end up with enemies just falling directly on them. They could end up with bullet bill generators where they shouldn't be, and that stage in particular becomes incredibly difficult. You see Beast now going through it again because he had some issues. Slash taking on the first boss, the octopus, whereas Oh Dear just ended up getting the tree zone coin. So I'd say Slash and Oh Dear are pretty even right now, both with their first coin in tow. Oh Dear making his way up towards Space Zone, but we'll see what stages he actually gets along the way. Slash having just finished up Turtle Zone, so they're sort of taking the different direction around the loop. So Slash ended up getting one of the stages from Space Zone, and it looks like it's got the correct form of gravity. This game actually has a bunch of different types of gravity as well. For the majority of the stages, it's just normal gravity, but in Space Zone, the first Space Zone has moon gravity, and the second one has like space gravity, whatever you want to call it. But in space gravity, you can fly infinitely, and in moon gravity, you can just jump a lot higher. So you get the ability to basically just moon jump. So Slash is making his way through Mario Zone. I don't recognize this level. This looks like one of the alternate levels in Tree Zone that I'm not used to seeing, so this is not one I'm familiar with. My experience with Super Mario Land 2 is just having run it quite a while ago. I haven't actually played the randomizer yet. I haven't gotten an opportunity to, and I told Slash going into this commentary that I wasn't going to play it because I wanted to be equally as surprised as the viewers, so you're welcome. So with that, Typo just got his first coin as well. So Slash and Typo both have the Turtle Zone coin, and Oh Dear already has the Tree Zone coin. So 3 runners already have 1 coin. I may have missed Beast acquiring a coin, but if he hasn't, he should be close. So Slash has finally encountered the Tree Zone 1 stage. Of course, he's probably encountered it in Mario Zone, so so it looks like Typo's about 1 stage behind Slash on the same path that Slash is taking. I think Beast is actually taking the same route around the loop that Oh Dear is, and Typo is taking the same direction around the loop that Slash is. It's funny, you can see some of these enemies actually spawning inside the floor. And with that, we now have all 4 runners have acquired 1 coin. I don't think this will be an issue for the runners that we see here, but one thing to keep in mind in this game is that if you game over, game overs don't have a huge punishment, like maybe if you're familiar with Super Mario Bros. 3, I would say that game overs are actually relatively punishing. In this game, you get to keep all of your progress through the stages, but you lose all the coins you've collected, so they would just have to run back and beat all the bosses again, if I'm not mistaken. We now have Slash taking on the second boss. So this is the actual Mario Zone boss. The bosses actually haven't been randomized. There was a glitch. I mean, you can call it a glitch or a feature if you want to, but in the first version of the Super Mario Land 2 randomizer, when the bosses were swapped around, you would sometimes beat a boss and it would give you 2 coins. It would give you the coin of the zone that you were in and the coin that was associated with the boss you killed at the same time. And while that seems like that might be interesting, he's still working on getting it to work the way he intended to. So for now, at least, you'll see the bosses for the zone that he's supposed to be in, irrespective of the randomization. Typo will be entering the 3 Little Pigs boss fight in just a moment. Now, the 3 Little Pigs, you definitely would like to go in there with a Fire Flower. Typo is going to be going in there with Rabbit Ears, which is fine. He'll still be able to beat the boss just fine, but it'll be probably a little bit slower. Oh Dear making his way through one of the Macro Zone levels. And with that, he should be entering the actual macro 4, which will allow him to take on the boss. Is this macro 4 or macro 5? I can't remember how they're numbered with the secret stages in this game. But this is the actual last stage of Macro Zone, and he'll be fighting the rat in just a second. Spoiler. With that, Typo now has 2 coins. We have Typo and Slash both have 2 coins. They have the Mario Zone coin and the Turtle Zone coin. And Beast and O'Dear both have 1 coin apiece, both of them working through Space Zone. O'Dear gets the quick kill on the boss with Fire Flower, and so that'll finish off Macro Zone for him. O'Dear's now heading back to Space Zone. Beast is on Space Zone 2, taking this opportunity to go ahead and finish it off, and he'll be fighting Tatanga, the boss of Space Zone. This boss fight's actually a little more challenging than any of the others. You saw him just go for a power-up and ended up encountering the money bag. He probably would have much preferred to have a Fire Flower. That definitely would be nicer for him to actually fight Tatanga with. But alas, this place is full of money bags. And another money bag. Both Slash and Typo are both in the actual Space Zone 1. I'm not sure what zone they're in on the overworld, but this is Space Zone 1 that they're both dealing with at the moment. O'Dear's working through one of the Pumpkin Zone stages. I don't think this is the last Pumpkin Zone stage, but it might be. No, this one's not the last Pumpkin Zone stage. And with that, Beast has just finished up Space Zone. So O'Dear has Macro Zone done, Beast has Space Zone done, and they both have Tree Zone. Typo and Slash both working on Pumpkin Zone at the moment. So with that, all 4 of our runners currently have 2 coins apiece. Now they're taking slightly different routes, so it's hard to say who's really ahead of who. Sorry, of whom. But they're all doing very well. More money bags. So, one of the things in this randomizer is that the exits can be swapped randomly. So you can actually choose for yourself under the conditions that you have which exit you want to try. If a stage has 2 exits, then it will be randomized with other stages that have 2 exits, and which location those exits go to will be random. So a lot of times you'll see them going for one of the exits, and if it doesn't take them where they want to, they may just go back, or they may have to reset, but they'll go and try the other exit to get to where they want to go. It's a travesty, honestly, that we're not listening to the Star Song music constantly here. O'Dear having a pretty good fight with Tatanga, and so I think O'Dear just got his 3rd coin, which would put him in the lead if you're just counting coins right now. He's definitely ahead of Beast. Beast is working on his third coin at the moment. He's heading into the last stage of Macro Zone, so he'll be fighting the rat pretty shortly. Typo and Slash both working their way through Pumpkin Zone. So this should be O'Dear working now on Pumpkin Zone. Oh, the music's actually randomized too. Is that true? Oh, music on the file select menu, overworld, and in levels can be randomized. Well, as exciting as it is to potentially be able to hear the Star Song everywhere, it is kind of sad to once in a while get Space Zone 2 and not hear the Star Song. That would be sad. There should just be a setting you can turn on that says everything should be Star Song. Every single zone, overworld, file select should be the Star Song. Oh, Deer's playing really well. He's fighting against some lag there, but he's playing really, really well. He's just making a tear through Pumpkin Zone. He's had a fairly easy time in the first 3 zones that he's played. But it's really not down and out for anyone. This the whole race culminates in Wario's Castle, which even unrandomized is no joke. But with the randomizer on messing with things, it makes it even more of a challenge. With that, Slash just wraps up his 3rd coin. He got the coin for Pumpkin Zone beating the Witch. I think right now there's a strong case to be made for O'Dear being in the lead. He is definitely closest to his 4th coin, with his closest competitor being Slash, who just obtained his 3rd coin. Fortunately for Typo, the rabbit ears were where they were supposed to be in that stage, because this stage could be a huge pain without them, and the boss is even more so. This is the last stage of Pumpkin Zone for Typo, so he will be tying Slash pretty soon for number of coins. Meanwhile, Beast is wrapping up, I think, Macro Zone right now. Or no, Beast is on Pumpkin Zone as well. If you enjoy Super Mario Land 2 and want to see more of this randomizer, I would definitely encourage you to follow all these guys. O'Dear is an absolute force to be reckoned with when it comes to Super Mario Land 2 speedrunning in general. slashinfty, Typo, and Beast are all amazing runners, and you should follow them all. There's a weekly Super Mario Land 2. There are weekly SML2 races that happen, so there's really no shortage of content if you want to watch a ton of Super Mario Land 2. Beast didn't like what he saw, so he hopped out, and he's gonna go right back in. Slash took a quick death. He's gonna take another crack at that stage. He's currently in the Macro Zone secret stage. I'm not sure what stage this is really. This is not a stage that comes up in the speedrun, to my knowledge, but the stage that he's in on the overworld is the Macro Zone secret level. Typo getting a little bit tripped up in Macro Zone 1. Oh, Deer's had quite a bit of unfortunate luck, I would say, trying to get through all of the exits in Pumpkin Zone. Keeps finding the wrong exits. He and everyone else are still doing really well, though. This is a really fun game to speedrun as well. If you're interested in getting into speedrunning a handheld game, Super Mario Land 2 is a really good pick. And with this randomizer and having a community that's so avid about racing and working together, this is a really excellent choice if you're looking for a fun platformer to pick up for the Game Boy. Slash is now making his way through the last level in Macro Zone, which will earn him his 4th coin after he beats the rat. He's got the Fire Flower already. If he can hold on to it, he can get the quick kill on the rat, which will be really nice for him. If I'm not mistaken, if I've been following along okay, I think that'll put Slash in 2nd place as far as coins collected. With one of those hits, but I think the rat's pretty much finished off now. And with that, that will be Slash's 4th coin. I'm actually interested in it if any of them ever keep an eye on their kills in this run. The normal speedrun for this game, you keep a close eye on the number of kills because every 100 kills you get in this game, it spawns a star. You can actually see on the heads-up display at the bottom of the screen when they're in the levels, the 3rd item is the number of enemies that they've killed. And in the normal speedrun, you try to spawn that star when you're inside Wario's castle to help finish off a really short boss rush. And that's 4 coins for Oh Deer now. Oh Deer making his way into Mario Zone, and then he'll have Turtle Zone after that to wrap up before Wario's Castle. Beast is now finishing off Pumpkin Zone. He's going the same way around, so that actually puts him only just barely behind Oh Deer, actually, which is really great pace. Slash is trying to make his way into Space Zone. Slash has the same number of coins as Oh Deer does currently. And Typo will be finishing off Macro Zone, which should give him also the same number of coins. Poor Typo with that money bag right there. Typo was looking out for some power-ups, trying to get his hands on a Fire Flower before he got to the boss, but sadly it was not meant to be because of the money bags. Typo's still trying to get up into Space Zone. He's got to beat the Hippo level, which is unfortunately the jelly stage from Turtle Zone. Or sorry, no, this is the stage from Tree Zone, isn't it? Yeah, this is from Tree Zone. Oh, unfortunate for Typo falling on those spikes. I haven't been keeping a close eye on O'Dear, but I think this is the last stage in Mario Zone for him, which would put him at 5 coins. That's getting remarkably close to being done. I don't want to call it too early, but O'Dear is making a breakaway with this one. Slash is wrapping up Space Zone, but I think he and Beast are probably pretty close in terms of how far away they are from their 5th coin. Oh, but Slash just entered the Tatanga fight. And he gets the quick kill, a really nice quick kill from slashinfty. And Beast will be entering the 3 Little Pigs fight right now. At least 3 of our runners here have 5 of their coins so far. And with typwo going into Space Zone 2, this will allow him to wrap up and get his 5th coin very soon. So we actually have a pretty close race. O'Dear is 1 stage away from the end of Turtle Zone, which will allow him to get his last coin before entering Wario's Castle. But it looks like the gap between our runners is really less than a full zone, which is pretty impressive. Now, that being said, typwo and Slash did go the opposite direction around, and I will say that Tree Zone has more stages that need to be completed than the runners going the other direction around. So I think that they are going to be at a little bit of a disadvantage just comparing based on number of coins, but this is still an exceptionally close race. Beast is now 1 stage behind O'Dear. So if this looks interesting to you and you want to try it out for yourself, you can actually find the Super Mario Land 2 randomizer online. Just Google for the Super Mario Land 2 randomizer and you can find it. It's a tool you can download. If you want to race it with other people, it's actually quite easy. You just put the seed that you want in, everyone puts the same seed in with the same settings, and you get the same ROM, and you can race it on SRL really easily. All the randomizers are really nice about that. They're great tools for racing and becoming comfortable with the game. If you don't feel like you're quite prepared to speedrun the game properly, and you just want to have some fun with some friends, this is a great way to sort of get acclimated to the game before you put in a lot of serious practice and attempts. With that, O'Dear just earned his 6th coin and can now enter Wario's Castle. Beast is right behind him. Beast is beating the final boss, or is beating the boss of Turtle Zone, and he will be in great shape to be able to follow right in O'Dear's footsteps. Now, it would have been interesting to see O'Dear go to the roulette games, the slots games, to try to grab a power-up, but I guess he's pretty content to just go for it. You know, he's Small Mario. Now, a few things have changed about this. Oh, great. The very beginning of Wario's Castle for O'Dear did not have a power-up. That would have been nice for him. So, in this stage, the locations of the small and large fireballs have been randomized, so O'Dear has to play it really safe here. And in addition to that, these swinging spike balls, the different sizes have been randomized as well, so the large ones and the small ones have been swapped with each other, which he needs to take into account as well. Beast is now entering Wario's castle himself, finding the money bag, jumping for it, and it was not a great idea. O'Dear's not having any big mistakes so far in Wario's castle. Nothing, you know, he's making the actual breakaway that I would have expected from him. He's got another chance for a power-up up here, I believe. And it was a star. Unfortunately, that star comes just a little earlier than he probably would have wanted it. There's a short little boss rush, mini boss rush, coming up, and I don't think it's going to quite last all the way. And he's got a little 3-room boss rush he's got to take care of right here. First 2 rooms done. And with that, O'Dear's going to be entering the Wario fight. With rabbit ears. Three quick hits. That's how you know he's on the perfect line.
We have a $10 donation from Proto Magical Girl who says, "Well, how can I say no to Moobot?" That's right, Moobot is the ultimate authority.
And time's coming up for O'Dear right here. With that, Wario is down on O'Dear's screen. Beast is working on the mini boss rush. Oh, he made the right call backing off there. He was about to get hit by one of the Warios. He is now entering the Wario fight himself. Meanwhile, Slash is finishing up Tree Zone right now. As soon as he's done with Tree Zone, he will be making it into Wario's castle. And Typo is going to be following in his footsteps. Looks like the stage Typo's on right now has Space Zone 2 physics, so he can fly infinitely if he wants to. Great run for O'Dear, by the way. I mean, I wouldn't have expected anything less from O'Dear. Fantastic Super Mario Land 2 runner. And with that, Beast just finishes off himself. Slash is now entering Wario's castle. He has a power-up. Typo is now finishing up Tree Zone. And as soon as he finishes off this stage, he will be able to enter Wario's castle himself. Slash went for the super jump to get on top of that piranha plant statue, but missed it just barely and got whiffed by the fireball. Oh, poor Slash. Now Slash has a little bit of a window here. You know, he can afford to make a few mistakes and kind of size up this first room. This first room is, at least by my estimation, undoubtedly the most difficult part of this castle, randomized or not. So if he can make it through this room, you know, relatively quickly before before typwo can get in and really get his bearings, then Slash has probably still got this. But this room is incredibly challenging, and it's only made more difficult by the fact that all of the spike balls have been randomized and the sizes of the fireballs have been randomized. Decided I would keep an eye on Slash's lives. He's got 2 lives left. He really does not want to lose all of his lives, though, because if he does, then all of the coins go away. And he has to earn back all 6 coins in order to enter Wario's castle again. It looks like Slash and typwo just tied this up together now. typwo's got to walk over to Wario's castle, but Slash is taking another crack at it. He's having a little bit of trouble with the large ball and chains. They kind of spawn at an awkward point. You kind of have to jump out to get them to spawn and stay underneath them, which can be very challenging. You can see he's playing it a lot more conservatively now. And he made it out of the first room. Unfortunately, he's not going to find a lot of solace in the power-up options for this castle. There aren't any power-ups through this entire thing until you get right to the Wario fight. That's true, he can soft reset. I didn't consider that. Slash made it out of the rough part of this castle, so this race could still easily be his over typwo, but you know, they're close. typwo has now made it out of the first room. Oh man. Alright, Slash is heading back in. typwo now is breaking away. typwo making it around the next turnaround, and he's got only a few more rooms before he makes it to the short boss rush. typwo doesn't look willing to risk it for these quick hits on the Wario orbs. He's happy for them to run away and just wait for them to come back. With a power-up entering the Wario fight, typwo's going to take a crack at Wario now. Slash entering the boss rush right now. Oh man. Alright, Slash is going to take the soft reset so that he doesn't lose his boss coins. Gonna head back into Wario's castle, take another crack at it. And with that, typwo just finished up. It's worth saying a special thanks to Slash for working so hard on making this randomizer. He's sort of continuing a time-honored tradition at underperforming in his own randomizer, which I find is true for a lot of randomizer makers. Myself making Super Mario World randomizer, Fred Coughlin making Zelda 1 randomizer. Somehow it seems like our whole communities are able to outclass us at our own creation, but Slash has put a ton of work and time into putting together this randomizer, doing some final documentation on the randomizer itself to try to figure out how to actually achieve his goals. There was some documentation before he went into making this, but he actually did a lot of the work himself to figure it out, and with some other people's help. So. Slash grabbing just a few extra lives. Yeah, I know for a lot of runners, this first room in Wario's Castle is probably one of the harder parts of the speedrun. Just getting comfortable with some of the challenges that it presents, and it seems like Randomizer only makes that worse, so. Alright, Slash making his way back through some of these platforming stages, and now he's doing the last turnaround to make it up toward where the boss rush is, so we should be seeing the boss rush one more time. He knows better than to grab that star this time, knowing it's not going to carry it quite far enough for him, so. At full speed, some of this platforming can be quite challenging, so I think he was smart to kind of do a little bit of a turn back there to save himself from running off the edge again. Slash is doing the civic duty to make sure that we don't get too far ahead of schedule here.
Looks like Off left the Discord. Maybe his internet dropped out or something. Well, I don't really know a lot about SML2, so I'm not gonna attempt to commentate it.
What even? Okay, well, I guess we're all up in here now, so...
Okay, we got moved.
I know, Rezi moved me right as I was about to move everyone back down. That's fine. So, Odir, as you probably know, and in probably the most unsurprising twist in this entire marathon, you won this race. How do you feel about how it went?
I was told that I won. Yeah. I thought it went pretty poorly right from the beginning, but then I stopped dying. I stopped taking wrong exits.
Yeah, you seem to have a few issues in Pumpkin Zone, getting a bunch of wrong exits in a row, but then it kind of started going really straightforward. Now, do you and Beast typically take so for those of you who don't know, because you were racing at the time, Typo and Slash did Tree Zone first, went clockwise around the island, whereas Odir and Beast went counterclockwise around the island. Was this sort of like an off-the-cuff, last-minute decision, or do you guys typically play the levels in that order, and if so, why?
Was it the other way around? Because I went clockwise.
Can I just butt in for a second? We're in General 2. Is that part of this?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Rezi came in here.
All right, I got confused about the channels. Go ahead.
I usually...
Yeah, did I say it backwards?
That doesn't really matter. But yeah, I usually take the clockwise order, which is because if you take the wrong exit in the level with the hippo, it puts you to a macro zone right away, and that happened to me. And if that happens, I just play the macro zone. So
Interesting.
I don't lose that much time walking around the world map.
Okay.
And just go back to, like, with the knowledge of the right exit, I go back to the hippo level.
So for those of you who went the other way around, for those of you who went Turtle Zone first and went counterclockwise around the island, is that sort of something that you consider as well? Is there some planning for that, or is there a reason why you go that way instead?
For me, there's no reason whatsoever. I just like a change of pace from glitchless.
Gotcha. Yeah, I can definitely see that. You do the same order in both of them, and it kind of all starts to run together, I imagine.
Yeah.
Done.
Nice.
Yeah, we got Slash just wrapped up as well, so we finished off Wario for the 4th time. Is there anything you want to say, Slash, about the randomizer's development or anything that I may not have included, just sort of talking about what they saw?
Not too much. Like, I'm hoping to do some more over the summer because I teach, so when I got the break off, I'm gonna try to do some more things, like try to get the enemies on the ground and not float in midair, or, unfortunately for deer, stop the ants from drowning.
Please keep them.
Yeah, I think that's
Feature of
interesting.
the rando.
I think the ants that get stuck underwater and just rotate back and forth, one of the best parts of the rando, like top 5 at least.
I want to find some way to make the gauntlet harder for everyone.
Please.
If you didn't see the chat, there was a lot of request for an option to have all of the levels everywhere use Star Song.
That actually happens 1% of the time, because I included that specially.
I like that. Okay.
It's called the 1% ROM. We have not experienced it yet.
Well, that race was a lot of fun. I mean, you know, however you guys felt about the way it ended up, that whole race was super close the whole time. Even with 2 of you guys going one direction around the island and the other 2 going the other direction around, the number of coins stayed really close the whole time, so that was really exciting to watch.
It's
Yeah,
one of the
Slash
few
actually pulled ahead early. He was kind of boasting about his abilities early on.
Well, I have to,
Oh,
because
Jesus,
I know
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
have to catch up with him.
be terrible at the end, so I take what I can.
Well, you pretty much had 3rd place in lock before Wario's Castle started running a train on you.
Yeah, everything was great until everyone died.
Yeah, it went perfect until it stopped going perfectly.
The other thing I hope to do this summer is figure out bosses, try to move them around and stuff. It might require assembly, which I don't know, so we'll see.
Are there any other features that you're planning to work on that you sort of haven't experimented with yet, but that you have ideas for already?
Those are the two I'm worried about, like most concerned about and trying to do. Deer wants me to try to make the levels go backwards, but we'll see. That seems like a lot of work.
That would require quite a bit of programming.
Interesting. All right. Well, if you guys have anything else you want to say, I know you guys didn't really say anything on stream so far. So if there's anything you want to mention before they move on to the next game, I guess now's your shot.
Well, I wasn't too crazy about the pick for opening level for Mushroom House, but at least it wasn't an auto-scroller. That would have been worse.
Bees is bad.
Do you guys want to talk anything about the Super Mario Land 2 community, weekly races, and how they can get into running Super Mario Land 2, and when you guys do randomizer races and stuff like that?
I think I'll let Deer talk.
Yep. So we have a Discord. Maybe I'm gonna post that later in the chat. Where we organize our weekly races. That's on Fridays, 6 p.m. Eastern, and we are like 2 to 5 people most of the time. But we are like a talkative Discord where like every new runner is welcome, or even just people who enjoy the game, or even people who don't have anything to do with the game. Just join the Discord for some SML2 fun, I would say. And also play the randomizer. If you have played the game, if you enjoy the game, just get an emulator, or if you happen to have a flash card, get it for that, and play some emulator, some randomizer. It's actual fun.
Definitely. This is a pretty straightforward game to pick up as well. I mean, there's some tech to it, and it's got a lot of room for growth. You know, once you start to learn it, your times can improve pretty fast. So
Yeah.
if you're one of those people out there watching saying, I want to get speedrunning, but I don't know what game to try, consider Super Mario Land 2. It's a ton of fun.
We have a robust, we have a decent-sized leaderboard. We just don't have terribly many active runners right now.
Yeah, people come and go, but there's been a lot of big-name runners in the past. I know Laplace and Controller Head. And then Mug's done some RTAs, but he mostly did the tassing for it.
I think your name is on the leaderboard as well.
Me?
Yeah, and even Darby picked it up for 12-hour challenge
Maybe
recently.
with a 28:02 time.
Yeah, pretty sad. Pretty sad that didn't get deleted instantly.
Wow.
Don't even let people submit times that bad on the leaderboard. But yeah, I mean it's been a pretty popular game. People like Darby have picked it up. You know, like I said, Controller Head used to run it. Laplace used to have the world record. It's a ton of fun, and everyone should definitely consider getting in on it. It's a great game to learn. And with that, I think we're pretty much wrapped up. We can move on to the next thing on the schedule. Who has the schedule and can tell me what's next?